Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, The Real Estate Real. I'm your host, Tyler, and today we have a special guest on the show, Marissa. So, Marissa, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself today?
Yes. So my name's Marissa. I am a mortgage loan officer and I work in Sacramento, all over Sacramento with Reliant Lending and the Chris Kennedy team at Reliant Lending. And so I work with lots of agents, lots of different real estate professionals, and with Tyler here as well.
Awesome, for sure. So today we're going to be here talking about interest rates and how interest rates have recently increased in the past year or so far. And Marissa's going to tell you a little bit about the history itself of the interest rates and what's been going on with the interest rates over the past couple of years.
Yes, so I think something to note is what we have seen the last few years has been really amazing for home buying. So we've seen incredibly record low interest rates. And so as we're seeing steady increases, we're seeing a lot of pushback and people kind of get a little bit nervous seeing those rates increase. A lot of people entered into the buying market for the first time in the last few years, and so this is all that they know. But really, the reality is this is record low. I'm sure you know this already. It has been pretty standard in the past for rates to be 5%, 8%. We've seen them farther back, many years back. We've seen interest rates be 15%. And so what is important to know now is that this has been unusual, and so these increases are okay and they are normal.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you see it playing out the rest of the year with the interest rates? Do you continue to see them to rise in the housing market, or?
We will definitely see some rises. I think we've seen some pretty sharp increases very recently. And so I think what we will see is some dips, some leveling out, maybe not straight shooting up. Maybe, some days will be a little bit lower, and maybe we'll steady out for a while. But I think we will definitely continue to see a steady rise this year, next year, probably for the next few years. It's hard to tell what exactly that rate is going to look like, but we can definitely see probably maybe hit into the 4s by the end of the year, and we're seeing around high 3s right now.
And how do you feel personally about that? Do you think home buyers should be worried about that, or homeowners should be worried at all about the interest rate increase, or do you think, like you stated before, that they've been a lot higher in the past? So how do you feel personally about it? What's your professional opinion based on that?
I always tell people that the best time to buy is whenever they're ready.
Okay.
And so if you're ready now, it's a great time. If you're not quite ready, and you're going to wait just a bit and you happen to get a higher interest rate that's, a couple years down, 5-6%, if that's where we end up, then I think it's important to know that there are options for that. There are ways to always come back to a lower payment, a lower interest rate. So, what people were doing when rates were 15% was they were still buying, but they were waiting it out, and when interest rates dropped, they refinanced.
Gotcha.
So knowing that, what you are locked into now, yes, you're locked into a 30-year loan, but if you work with, real estate agents that know what they're doing, that have connections with lenders, they will always be able to help you kind of make a plan for that. So some people just have to move and they have to take that interest rate.
Right.
And so knowing that they can always come back and refinance is always a good option. So knowing a couple things for yourself, knowing what you want to pay monthly is super important, because if you're comfortable with that number, then the rest can kind of be worked out over the years.
Okay. And you could help any homeowner see what mortgage rates they'd be paying at the time when they got in the house, right?
Yes. Do you mean like when they're about to buy?
Correct.
Like pre-approval process?
Right.
Yes. So you can always look at the day's rates, and with that you can have a really good estimate of what they're going to be paying. And so usually when someone applies, I always ask them, what do you want your monthly payment to be?
Okay.
What are you paying now for rent, and what are you willing, what's your max point? And from there, that usually dictates how much they can be qualified for.
Cool.
or how much they should be qualified for.
Cool. So that's a great thing to keep in mind if you're looking to buy a house. Just contact a lender first and see how much mortgage you might be paying in the future, because it's going to help you plan out that process of home buying and things like that. So that's why lenders are great to always work with if you're trying to find a home to buy. And of course, what are some things that home buyers can do in the process to maybe offset the cost a little bit of the mortgage payment or any other payments? I know you mentioned to me earlier when we were rolling the camera about down payment assistance and things like that. Can you mention a few of those things, obviously, to put home buyers at ease during this process?
Yes, definitely. So if somebody is really close with what they're pre-qualifying for, they have a certain purchase amount that they want to hit, but maybe they aren't qualifying for up to that point, if they're not qualifying up to that point because of something like a down payment, they don't have that full 5%, 10%, 20%, whatever it is, and they want to kind of hit a different level, a bigger amount to qualify for, we can try to work things out where we add in down payment assistance programs. So if they come in with some cash, rather than having that be what they put down, they can supplement with down payment assistance programs and kind of work all of those together and still be able to apply and maybe apply for more than what they would have afforded on their own.
Okay, awesome. For sure. Any other tips you would give to homeowners right now, or any other things that you would say to a homeowner getting ready to buy or purchase a home in the next couple of months?
I would say credit is really important. It's one of the three most important things. You have down payment, credit, and income. And credit is very much within your ability. I think a lot of times more so than the other two. You can't necessarily demand a raise every month, and you can save, but sometimes it takes a little bit of time. Credit, you can kind of have a lot more leeway with, and the better credit you have, the more opportunities you have. So if you have a lower credit score, there are less options available, and the higher the credit score, the more options you have. So looking at Credit Karma and doing any of those little helpful tips, paying an extra payment here and there, is super helpful. So paying attention to that, I would say, is really crucial.
Okay, cool. And do you guys do anything here at Reliant Lending to outsource that if people are trying to bump their credit up, or do any of that stuff? Do you work with certain people who will do that for them?
Definitely. So we partner with several different credit repair agencies. We are also able to do things called a rapid rescore. So oftentimes somebody, when they're speaking with us, they're usually ready to buy pretty soon.
Yeah.
And so say they're on the brink of this credit threshold. So say they're at about 630 and they want to hit that 640 credit threshold. What we can do is we can run their credit and see if we can do something like a rapid rescore. And it would give us a couple options, things to do immediately. And so sometimes things come back like, pay $432 to this credit card today. And then we would tell them, okay, do that exact thing, that exact amount, no more, no less. And then within like a few weeks, it will rescore them and they can get a significantly higher credit score depending on what's available to their specific credit.
Awesome. For sure. Cool. So plenty of tricks here today so that you can help get into the home buying process faster, or you can feel more comfortable during the home buying process. And that's pretty much all we had for you today. Do you have anything else to add for the people?
No, I would just say, make sure that all of the real estate professionals you're working with work well together. Knowing an agent that has a great lender relationship is really important because they can brainstorm together and instead of saying, no, this isn't going to work, find people that are going to say, no, this isn't the right time, let's figure something else out.
Right. So we're always here to help you. That's what Marissa is saying. So find somebody that's obviously committed to helping you and figuring out how we could get you in that home of your dreams and the home that you really want. And someone that's not just going to brush you off and say no all the time. So we're absolutely here to help everybody that needs help. And so thanks for tuning in today, guys. And I really appreciate if you're watching the show. Of course, like and subscribe. And we enjoyed having Marissa on the show today. So you'll be seeing more of her lately. So thanks for coming out, Marissa. And that's all we have. Thanks, guys.